If you're going to do affirmations, you need to go crazy. You need to say that the sleep paralysis demons have nightmares of you. You're so freaking amazing that when you shave your pubes, the drain that the pubes fall in blesses the sewers. You need to say crazy things like that. Now, why is it that you need to say crazy things like that? Because I've always thought that just like how we all talk about getting in the state and being in the flow, I like to think of it like this. Imagine on your screen right now, to your left, there is depression, anxiety, not having your SP. And then the bar goes all the way to your right, where it's you have your SP, you have the money, you have all those things that you're trying to manifest. That's your God state, okay? Imagine a little spectrum here. Whenever you just say, I have my SP, I am rich, you're probably not going to be all the way to the left of the spectrum. But, if anything, it's more neutral, right? When you check the 3D and you see that you were left on red, that is an affirmation as well. You move closer to depression, to not having your SP. But when you look in the 3D, you see that you were left on red, and yet you say, they blow up my phone so much that T-Mobile is upset because it's fucking up their data towers. That is the complete opposite of what the 99% say. And therefore, where do you think on the spectrum is it going to be? Is it going to be closer to depression? Or is it going to be closer to the middle where it's I'm love and perfection? Or is it going to be, where else does it have to go if it's not in those areas? Well, there's no other choice but to go, my friends, closer to your God state. Okay? This is why I've said that my self-pedestalizations are the thing that has been manifesting things overnight. I have many clients, and the thing that has surprised me the most is that it hasn't been so much the consultations. It hasn't been so much the, me having to use, voodoo and resurrect people from the dead that got them to manifest their SP and their money. It's by simply telling them to practically put their affirmations on steroids and make it to the point where it's almost controversial. Or if they were to say it on YouTube, they would get demonetized. Believe it or not, this is the thing that all my clients have been saying has been working for them. And of course, you can say them all you want, but if you are not in the right state, it can still not work. If anything, could just be a Band-Aid. But, a lot of my clients already know the fundamentals, right? But check out the links in the description. I have self-pedestalization affirmations that I send to you on a daily basis. If you get the self-affirmation package, it's the cheapest thing on my store. I would actually use literal names of your story, basically a biography of your life you give to me, and then I base all the affirmations off of that. Links are in the description. But when I say you have to say your affirmations like that, look, in reality, you are so powerful that you could just fart and think of having $1 million and then boom, it's yours. But you see, the thing is, my friends, we live in a day and age where we need dopamine hits. We live in a day and age where we need to show flashy cuts and subtitles at the bottom of the screen to keep you guys awake. Okay? If there's anybody who knows this, it's YouTubers. Okay? So it's the same way kind of with states sometimes, especially if you're so used to being not in the state, you need something to get you in there. And I've always said that when you do affirmations like this, it really gets you in the state because like I've told the story many times, like when there was that hot volleyball girl who was working with me and she thought I was a player and she made it so obvious that she was trying to ignore me. Whenever we would work together, it would just be so awkward, right? Not talking to me, whatever. But that was around the time when I invented these self-pedestalizations, and I started saying to myself in my head while she was there, standing practically right next to me, in my head I would be saying that she carries 5 pairs of panties to work every day because she can't stop masturbating thinking of me. That every single time she has to keep going to the bathroom because she can't take it. And ever since then, she has always treated me differently. She was having all these weird excuses just to start conversations with me, even when my back was turned, even when I was talking to somebody else. And let's just say one thing led to another, call HR, boom, the end. But either ways, that is just the first of many. And what's crazy too is that there were two SPs of mine who I said, blow up my phone with so much nudes, okay? And I would kind of say it as a joke. This past week, both of them blew up my phone with nudes, okay? Now, why does that happen? I was saying it for months. Now, I really didn't give a shit whether it worked or not. However, there were some days where I would look at the 3D and I would be like, that's weird that nothing happened. But I would always go back. And I would always remind myself, no, you know the truth. You know that what you're seeing is just a past reflection. Why react? And the way that I would get into, well, basically the way I would get back into the saddle and back on track is by using these self-pedestalizations. And as a matter of fact, one of them just texted me right now. You see, your boy can't miss. I'm making half-court shots even while I'm on set, right? But with those two SPs, it would get to the point sometimes in the 3D where, like, one of them flat out told me, you're too full of yourself, Neo. You think everybody likes you. I will never do anything like that with you. That was 3 weeks ago, and now, look, you're not gonna believe, they're calling me daddy, okay? And I can't even go into more details because one of them watches my channel, okay? So guys, right hand to God. This is the God above is my witness truth, okay? I might even have to show you some. I mean, maybe I have to put that on the Patreon. But what do you expect is gonna happen when you are constantly just feeding your mind? I'm so wealthy that CEOs off themselves when they open my bank account, right? I am so gorgeous that men, this one's for you ladies, men worship the toilet that I shit in, right? And I know you ladies never poop, so maybe I shouldn't even use that one, right? Well, I'm so gorgeous that every gym has a nude of me in their wall, and if the health inspector sees that a gym doesn't have my nude on their wall, they fail the health inspection, right? I guarantee you, you go around saying that whenever you're feeling triggered in the 3D, watch what happens. This, to me, is the best way to handle the 3D. Is to get into the state by any means necessary. And sometimes, like the scriptures say, the kingdom is taken by force. This is how you take it by force, my friends. Okay? I mean, Lord have mercy. I remember when I was going through a drought. Okay, this is a hood classic right here. I told myself, you know what? I'm done. Okay? It was so strange because it was one of those situations where I knew that I was attractive. I knew that I could get women. But it's like, of course, I started to get zero attention from women during the time that I was not giving attention to myself. I was distracting myself with bad habits. I was being lazy. And this is why all the monks, all the self-improvement gurus, all the red pill content creators, that's one thing we can agree on. You have to focus on your purpose. You have to focus on your passion, because it's not just something where God's like, oh, well, you got to do your homework, buddy. You got to eat your vegetables. It's more deeper than that. Like I've always said, there's a reason why people on how to get your X-Back programs get their X-Back when they start doing their hobbies, because it's not a cliche. It's that there is a spiritual thing behind it. Kind of like when we would watch a sermon from our pastor, and they would say, when you watch corn, it is a demon behind that screen. That's kind of what it is. It's like there is an angel. There is a spiritual power behind you doing your hobbies, because you doing your hobbies is you stepping into the state of what you would be doing if everything was okay. So whenever people talk about getting into the spirit, walking in the spirit, the vibes, bro, the energies, it's just state, guys. And what is state? It's just a level of consciousness. And what is a level of consciousness is whatever you keep focusing on. Whether it's mentally, whether it's with inner conversations, whether it's through what you are seeing in your head, or whether what you think that your SP is going to be doing when they're giving you head. It's the same thing, guys. And honest to God, self-pedestalization affirmations, which are basically affirmations, so crazy that they would make even demons shudder. Which, by the way, comment down below if you want the top 20 affirmations for free, and I'll email them to you. But guys, enough is enough. You got to take the kingdom of heaven by horns. So are you willing to do that? Okay. And remember, guys, sometimes affirmations are not enough. Sometimes you really need to dive deep in your situation and need somebody to wake you up. Well, I can wake you up. I can read souls. So what are you waiting for? The links are in the description. And join the membership channel. If you want to know the perks, they are in the bio. I love you guys. Take care.